Hello. Okay, are we live now? Let me see. I believe we are. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here today. As you come on board, I say hello, and I'm wishing each of you health and warmth, right? I'm here in the Chicago area, and wow, it is snowing again, but the wind is really fierce, so we've got lots of gusty wind. So it is cold, cold, cold outside, but I am toasty warm. Okay, looks like people are coming on board. There's always that minute of doubt, or a few seconds of doubt, that Facebook is working and that I'm working Facebook properly. So as you come on board, say hi, tell us where you're from, and welcome today. So Happy New Year, everyone. This is our first SCHMETZ snippet of the year, the first Wednesday of every month. Today is January 5th, and it's noon here in the Chicago area. How many of you opened up the SCHMETZ newsletter? Yeah, that went out on New Year's, January 1st at 12:06 a.m. Did you like my picture? Oh, yeah. People were going, how did you do that? How did you do that picture? Well, I told a couple people I actually went to New York City. You know, I lived in New York City for 12 years. I had an awesome time, but no, I was not live in New York City. But, you know, I happened to go to Party City, and they had these fantastic murals on kind of a crunchy paper. So I just plastered our walls here in the conference room with that background. So it was a lot of fun. And then I took a couple of close-up pictures where you could see the little I Love SCHMETZ Needles badge, and posted those on Facebook. And what else? Oh, a champagne bottle that was labeled I Love SCHMETZ Needles. So hope you saw those and liked it. You know, we're talking about needles, and you got to have fun, right? Okay. So last month I was in Golden, Colorado, where I was on a photo shoot. We are updating our website, SCHMETZneedles.com. So, you know, all the clothes and quilts and projects that I've made over the years, we photographed for our new website. So our website won't be going live for a couple months yet, but you know, you need to do advanced planning, so the photos have been taken, and probably later this week I'll actually see the edited and final picture. So I'm looking forward to that and sharing more of the sewing projects that I've done for myself and for you. Okay, so last month the question was to ask a general SCHMETZ question in order to be part of the random drawing. So yeah, lots of great questions, and the winner was Hildur, Hildur, from New Jersey. So her question was how to thread the sewing machine when using a SCHMETZ triple needle. So that was an excellent question, and I will be answering that in a few minutes, along with some other twin needle information. So I'd like to ask how many of you received a new sewing machine for Christmas? Or maybe you gave a sewing machine away at Christmas. So whether you received or you were the giver, you know, SCHMETZ needles go hand in hand with all of the different sewing machine brands. So I hope that you included SCHMETZ needle bundles with your machines. So I'll just touch also on the SCHMETZ collectible tin. You know, we had a limited edition available, and those sold out in 30 minutes. Thank you for reading our emails. So then I called the manufacturer and asked, oh gosh, we've sold out. Can we get more? So we bought the remaining 500 tins from their inventory. They were imprinted with our Smets needle points, and those sold in 24 hours. So we know that Smets 10 gift boxes are a hit, and I'm hoping that we can do more later in the year. Either the same or hey, we could do something new. So what do you think about gift tin ideas for Smets needles? Yeah, make a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right, now, how many of you have been reading Smets Inspired to Sew? Yes, we're working on issue 98 right now. I won't tell you what the topic is, but we did release number 97. And number 97 was about Sue Hausman. How many of you know and adore Sue Hausman? Sue was worked for Husqvarna Viking. She did America's Sew on PBS, and really an icon in our sewing and quilting industry. So Rita Farrell caught up with her, and wow, what an inspiration. So if you haven't seen this, go to smetsneedles.com. At the top menu, you'll see Inspired to Sew, and there's a drop-down menu, and you can click and see all the different issues. So it's kind of funny because we did Sue Hausman, and the issue before, I don't think I actually had the physical copy, was Martha Pullen. Martha Pullen was number 96. So two icons of our sewing and quilting industry, so you can look at both of these issues online. It's a digital magazine, but I do print out the copies for my own referral. Okay, well, let's see. Let me see if we've got comments coming in. Okay, Gail says she loaned a vintage singer to a friend who refused to give it back. Oh no. She didn't get a new machine for Christmas. She's actually down a machine. Oh my goodness. Judy says she loves her tin. Oh, Kathy's in bad weather. I think her connection is kind of bad here today. Oh, Jerry from Puyallup is here. Hey there. Okay, yeah, there's Mary said that she's familiar with Sue Hausman. Okay. Oh, okay, Barbara says she did not get a new machine, but it saw a lot of action over the holidays. Fantastic. Oh, there's Hildur. Yep, our winner from last month. All right, let me scoot back up. So what's going on with May? Well, yeah, goodbye 2021. Let's hit the reset button. So just to give you an update on my Smets virtuals, wow, you know, I just offered the Smets virtuals, my Smets 45-minute class virtually. If you've seen me at Puyallup or the original Sewing and Quilt Expo, it's basically that class, and I've been offering it to stores and guilds. Wow, I even did a museum last year, expos and retreats, and wow, I did 97 Smets virtuals last year since February, so I was really pleased. I don't think that if I had traveled in person to all these locations, there's just no way I could have, but virtually my reach is so much grander from, you know, coast to coast, Canada and beyond. So thanks for signing up for my Smets virtual classes, getting them organized. I'm doing right now for 2022, I have over 30 virtuals scheduled. Again, that's for stores and guilds, retreats, etc. So if you're interested in a Smets virtual for your group, send me an email and let's get you on my calendar. So the 97 Smets virtuals, and that doesn't even include the 12 Facebook Lives that I did this year, the Smets snippets. So thanks everybody for showing up for Facebook Lives and my virtuals. Now, if you'd like to see my schedule, I do have it posted on my personal blog, sewmorestitches.com. So SEW morestitches.com. I updated it over the holiday so you can see what virtuals I'm giving this year. So hopefully you can attend too. All right. Well, this week, is going to be crazy because, I'm giving 2 Facebook Lives or 2 Zooms tomorrow night. Okay, I just received a note that, oh, hey, could you turn that light on? Maybe I don't have on the cord there. Oh, does that help any? I hope that helps. I hope you can see me better. I've got professional equipment, but it only works when you turn things on. So thanks for Paul for noticing that. Okay. All right, so I was saying sewmorestitches.com. I updated my calendar so you can go visit that. Tomorrow night I'm doing 2 Smets virtuals, one for Hands All Around Quilt Guild in Central Illinois, and then at 9 o'clock Central Time I'm doing a Smets virtual for the American Sewing Guild in Orange County, California. So back to back, and then if you don't belong to either of those 2 groups, let me get my information here. I'm part of a 24-hour webathon with Pam Demore. PamDemore.com is her website, and actually I featured Pam a few years ago in Smets Inspired to Sew. Here you can get the correct spelling of Pam's name, DAMOUR.com, PamDemore.com. Pam is a professional interior designer with a passion for quilting. So I featured her here, and I'm part of her her 9th annual webinar. So I hope you can join me for that. You can get more information at Pam's website. All right, so what am I sewing on right now? Or let's ask, what did I just finish? So I had 12 consecutive days to myself. I didn't come into the office. In fact, I used vacation time. It's use it or lose it vacation time. So with the holidays and weekends, I had 12 consecutive days. And so what did I make? Well, you may know that in October, I went up to Nancy Zeman's sewing studio in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Indiana Springer's the vice president, and we're friends, and she gave me this pattern, this Nancy Zeman production pattern. And it's a very clever pattern with an interior front pocket here, and you can do either this little stand-up collar or the hood. So I made this, actually I cut it out probably in October, but I didn't finish it until just a couple days ago. So my fabric is this beautiful cotton waffle weave, or waffle knit. It's extra soft. The fabric is from sewsewenglish.com, if you're familiar with that. And I love the color and the floral pattern. But the reason why I made this tunic was I really wanted to concentrate on fit. So this pattern has princess seams both on the front and back, and it has this little collar. I'm going to call it a paper bag scrunchy collar, where I actually used elastic cord, which I think it's probably kind of hard to see, elastic cord and a little stopper. So I thought that was fun to make and something totally new. Now on the original pattern, between the 2 princess seams, there's an interior pocket that, well, you know, it's that kind of pocket where you stuff a little Kleenex in case of emergency, and you find it later, you know, in the wash machine in all kinds of little bits, or you can put both hands into the pockets here. But because this fabric was so light, I decided not to do the front pocket and just did complete princess seams. The other thing that I'll just point out that I did on this fabric, because it was so light, I actually fused it with Pellon, a knit Pellon interfacing. And I documented sewing this. If you go to sewmorestitches.com, it was the post that I did yesterday, and I show you which of the Pellon products I used. I finished all the seams with my serger. You know, I love to serge. I love doing long continuous seams on the serger, so that was always fun. And then for something different, on my sewing machine, I actually did a decorative stitch, something I've never done before. Let me see if I can, you can kind of see it. It's kind of a cross between, it's kind of a serger wannabe stitch and a knit stretch stitch. So I just did something kind of fun. So you know what? I love putting this pattern together, and I hope that I can make it again out of a different fabrication. So give this pattern a try. McCall's M8022. Oh, and then what else did I sew over the holidays? Well, I woke up one morning thinking, you know, my bath towels are looking a little bit dreary. And I have all these fabric scraps, wonderful fabric scraps that I just can't throw away. So what did I do? I spent a day embellishing my bath towels, hand towels, and washcloths. So even with this fabric here, I had leftover scraps, and I used, I embellished some towels. So, you know, sometimes you just have to sew recklessly. That's what I did, and you can check out that blog post and see the different towels that I made up. Okay. Oh, one more thing I wanted to point out is that I will be doing the Sewing and Stitchery Expo, Puyallup, Washington. It's gone virtual again this year. So I'm doing 2 classes. So you can check out their website, which is sewexpo.com, and you can sign up for my class. It's not expensive. I don't remember how much they charge, but then you get to visit and shop the vendors. And wow, they always have a great array of instructors. All right, so let's talk about the goodies that I'm going to be giving away. Well, maybe before I show you the goodies, I should tell you what the question is. In order to win today's giveaway, you must answer one question. And the question is, what projects have you created using a Smets twin or triple needle? Answer, what projects or how did you use a Smets twin or triple needle? So my colleague Paul will be selecting the random winner, and to be considered, you need to answer that question. All right, so what are the prizes today? The prize, the gift bag. All right, of course, my friends over here at Shannon Fabric sent me a whole slew of wonderful kits. So this will be the first kit that I'm giving away this year. You know I'm a huge fan of Cuddle fabric, and this here is called A Work of Heart. And you know Shannon Fabrics makes the world a softer place. So yeah, I didn't take these out of the box, but I could just pet and hug these fabrics. They're so soft. So thank you, Shannon Fabrics. And let me just ask you, When you're sewing on Shannon Cuddle fabrics, well, what needle are you going to use? If you've been with me before, you should know the answer. The needle that you use on Shannon Cuddle fabrics is a stretch size 90-14. Stretch size 90-14 is what you use on Cuddle fabrics. So part of the giveaway today is a bundle of Sewing with Knit needles. That includes the stretch and jersey needles in assorted sizes. In the giveaway also today, I've got a variety of Smets needles. I've got the super non-stick needles that you use on your vinyl. You use for machine embroidery, machine applique. Anytime you're working with sticky stabilizers, fusibles, or spray adhesives, it's a great needle choice. Also, if you're sewing on vinyl. This giveaway today also includes the costume packs, the 9 and 10 needle costume packs. So yeah, you'll see there's a twin needle in there. So even though it says costume, don't let that trip you up, because these are great combo packs for all kinds of sewing, quilting, etc. So somebody will get a lot of use out of those. The bundle also includes the luggage tag. All right, so those are the needles. Don't want to forget to talk about Smets, right? Okay, from my friends at Kimberbell. How many of you like to do Kimberbell projects? They sent me this little tape dispenser. Isn't this cute? It says Kimberbell. It's kind of hard to see. I just got this a few days ago, so I'm happy to give this away. I know that they like the super non-stick needle for especially for machine embroidery. So this is part of today's pack. Mary Molari. I've got the Mary Molari Viola apron pattern. So this is a lot of fun. It's got the crossback straps. We know Mary loves her aprons, vintage and current. So this is part of the package. Plus, let's see here. Oh, I've got these patterns here from Plum Tree Quilts. This is my friend Laura, Plum Tree Quilts, and she's got a table runner and a 6x6 quilt. So these will be a lot of fun to make up. That's Laura from Plum Tree Quilts. How many of you are planning road trips this year? I know I am, and hopefully I don't have to cancel anything. But I've got the new 2022 Needle Travel Guide. So all the different quilt shops, fabric stores, textile shops along the way are listed in here by state, so you can plot out your visitations to support our local quilt shops and fabric stores, right? Let's see, in here, I should have marked this. Oh, here it is. Yep, I've got a full page ad in here. You can see what's your project, and I'm promoting the 8 specialty packs, which are the 2 costume packs, sewing with vinyls, sewing fleece, piecing and quilting, etc. So these you're going to find, you find them in the big box stores and at some of your independent stores. So full page ad, but this is very handy. All right, I've got some wonderful new fabrics. This is from P&B Textiles. So we all need new fabrics. We need to replenish our inventory, right? Well, I'm not going to call it inventory. It's our personal stashes, right? I have an Easy 8 ruler. So I hope the winner can use this. Let's see. What else? Well, I've got some other products here. Of course, I've got a jumbo bobbin saver square. Now, this is for the larger bobbins. This is for the bobbin that measures 1 1/16 diameter or larger. So this isn't for your L or your regular home sewing bobbin. This is for the larger jumbo bobbin. So a lot of the new Bernina machines require a jumbo bobbin. So that's why these channels are deep and wide for the jumbo bobbins. I have the Grab It My Pad, so now you can organize your slightly used needles by needle type and size. And let me see. Oh, I've got this nice spool of Aurifil thread. You know, this is a good blender color. This one here, yep, made in Italy. So you never have enough blender thread, right? Yep, I could use that myself. And then I just threw in some small things. Plus, I get these wonderful magazines, Fine Cooking, so I'm going to share these with you. Whoever the winner is today. I love to cook. My husband and I used to love to cook, and we would just scour these magazines. Well, these are the most popular, or the most recent issues, so I'm including these, but I'll be up front with you. The cover of this issue with these wonderful Black Forest Marshmallow Kisses. Who wants to make those? I do, and even more, I want to eat these. Well, there was something on the inside cover I just had to cut out, and it said, create the life you love. So I cut that out so I could put that up on my vision board. So sorry about that, but everything else is intact in these magazines. Okay, so in order to be a winner today, you have to answer the question, what projects have you created using a twin or triple needle? Okay, so let's just talk about twin and triple needles. It just so happens that Paul, my colleague Paul, does the blog online, and the post today that rolled over into Facebook was actually about twin needles. So I printed out a copy here, but you can go to Facebook and see it, and also go to SCHMETZneedles.com to the blog and also print it out. So some of the questions that we get about the twin needle is, can I use it on my serger? And the answer is no. The serger is a completely different animal, so don't try to use a twin needle on your serger. Can I use the twin needle on an industrial machine? And the answer is no. No. If you're using a home sewing needle, that's needle system 130-705H, that needle has a flat shank and a scarf for your home sewing machine. So industrial, I don't know about industrial. They might have a twin needle, but you're not going to use one of the home sewing, needle system 130-705H. These are for your home sewing machines. So what are some of the tricks to using a twin needle? Yeah, you have to use 2 spools of thread. And when you thread your machine, you need to make sure that the 2 threads, as they go through your tension disc, go on each side of the tension disc. So 1 thread on the left and 1 thread on the right of the tension disc. This allows the thread to play well when it goes through your tension and through the rest of the machine, and you'll have less tension problems also. So that's one of the tips. Another tip is that you need to probably change your stitch tension. Don't be afraid to do that. You need to just change the tension, and you probably need to also elongate your stitch. I would also suggest that you reduce your sewing speed. So those are tips to using the twin needle. But Hilda, who won last month's giveaway, asked about how to set up the machine with a twin needle or a triple needle. So here I have 2 packs of triple needles. Whoops, 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 whoops. Here we go. Whoops. Here we go. I've got twin and triple needles here. Okay, here's 2 packs of the triple needle. What's the difference between these 2 needles? Well, one is a 2.5/80, so that means 2.5 is the distance between the needles. This other one is a 3.0 /80, so it's still a size 80 needle, but the distance between the needles is 3.0. So the 3.0 is going to give you a wider stitch. So when you're threading your machine for a triple needle, you're going to use 3 spools of thread. So this will be one of the times that you'll use your traditional spindle on your machine. Many machines have a optional spindle that you usually just kind of plug into the top of your machine. And for that 3rd spool, what I've done in the past is I just place a spool of thread behind my machine. Sometimes I can just set it on the table, but oftentimes I have to elevate it so there's less drag on the thread. Another option would be, oh, I should have brought this with me. You can get a thread director. And that's like a spindle that you put on your machine, and then it's got arms. So you can actually put 2 spools of thread on your thread director. So you would use 1 thread director with 2 spools of thread, and then your everyday spool spindle that's built onto your machine. So definitely you'll need to adjust your tension on the machine and also probably elongate your stitches. So when you go to thread the machine, you're going to put 2 threads through the 1 tension disc on the, whether it's the left or right, and 1 thread on the opposite side of the thread tension disc. So you've got 2 and 1 or 1 and 2 on the side of the tension disc. So you'll definitely want to reduce your sewing speed also. Now, when do you use a twin or a triple needle? Well, you can use it definitely for hemming. The triple needle was originally called a drilling needle, and it was used for the installation of elastic waistbands, but we found easier ways to do that. Only once have I ever seen a twin needle used for embellishment. A couple years ago at International Quilt Festival in Chicago, I tracked down a lady that was walking ahead of me who was wearing a quilted jacket. She quilted it with a triple needle, and she used 3 different colors of thread, and she used straight stitches to create a diamond pattern. So yeah, it was beautiful. Now the thing about triple and twin needles is, wow, if you make a mistake, you've either got twice or 3 times as many stitches to rip out. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you should have fun. The other thing, if you enjoy quilting, you can do echo quilting with the twin needle. I suppose you could do it with the triple, but wow, that seems kind of stressful. In fact, I have a quilt that needs quilting, and I'm trying to gear up the energy, I'm trying to gear up to the challenge of quilting with a twin needle. So that is my project for 2022, one of them. So keep that in mind. All right, let me just go down and see. Oh, okay. Elena says that she loves using the twin needle finish on sets of charmeuse pillowcases. It leaves a beautiful straight double seam hem on the cuff. Fantastic. Christine says she's tried the twin needle, but she needs more practice. Yeah, sometimes these needles do take a little bit of practice, but don't let that stop you. Marianne says that she's going to start trying to use her twin needle based on today's information. Teresa's saying she's just now learning about the triple needle. Valerie said she never even knew about the triple needle. Well, that's what I'm here for, is to help guide you on some things that you might not know about sewing. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow, 12:35 Central Time. We've got about 10 more minutes to go. And before I announce the winner, let me just go in and see if there's some specific questions. Well, you know what? I'm going to answer questions from last month because it's so hard to read that feed right here on Facebook. Okay. And I got lots of great questions last month. Okay, so Kristen was asking, what needle should I use on Dupiani? Well, Dupiani is traditionally silk, so I would use a microtex needle. Marie was asking about the best needle choice for Swiss Batiste. I would use a universal needle. Now, Batiste is generally a lightweight fabric, so you'll probably use a finer thread. So you'll probably want to use a size 70 needle for Swiss Batiste. And you could also, try a hem stitch needle or a double hem stitch needle to kick up your sewing challenge. Janice was asking what needle to use on fleece. Well, guess what? I'm wearing Minky. Oh, and let's see, Peggy also asked about Minky and fleece. So those could be the same fabric. I am wearing a Shannon fabric Minky. Oh, I am the most huggable person in the world when I wear Minky. And I love this coat. I think I made this coat in 2019. It's a very easy vogue. It was just a little jacket that I extended to below the knee. And I covered snaps here on the inside so it would close properly. And wow, isn't this a beautiful brooch? It belonged to my mother. And I think it just looks perfect on this huggable coat. You know, I kind of feel like Marilyn Monroe might look or feel in her glamour days. So yes, I do love to wear this coat. And I thought, you know what, I haven't gone to any in-person event, so I haven't been wearing my beautiful clothes, my show clothes. So I'm doing it today, and let me just tell you, it's kind of warm with the lights, and because this is plush on both the inside and exterior, it's very toasty. So keep that in mind. All right, so what needle do you use when you're sewing Minky or fleece? Yeah, a stretch size 90-14. Even Shannon Fabrics that manufactures Minky suggests SCHMETZ stretch size 90-14. So you'll find if you use other needle types that you'll want to come back to the stretch needle. It really does make a difference. Kathy was asking if she can use two different types of thread when using a twin needle, and absolutely. Certainly when you're using a twin needle, you can use two different colors of thread or even two different types of thread. Now, I will caution you, if you're using two different types of thread, you might have to adjust your tension and stitch length a little bit. But in theory, it should just work fine. But you need to do some sample stitches before you jump right into your actual project. Stephanie was asking, how do you select needle size? Is it based on fabric or on the thread? And I like to say that your needle selection is a dance. I'm going to call it the 840 dance. So my rule of thumb when using an everyday thread, which would be a 40 weight thread, doesn't matter what the brand is, a 40 weight thread can be used for quilting and piecing. It can be used for sewing on knits and lots of different projects. So a 40 weight thread is your everyday thread. Generally, with a 40 weight thread, use a size 80-12 needle. That's what works for me. I'm calling this the 80-40 rule. Size 80-12 needle with a 40 weight thread. Now, as that, using that as a baseline, if my thread is lighter, then I go down a needle size or two. So if I'm using a finer thread than a 40 weight, then I know I need to go down to a 75 or size 70, or maybe even smaller than that. Again, using 80-12 as the benchmark for a 40 weight thread. If I'm using a heavier weight thread, now I know I need to use at least a size 90-14 needle. So that's my 80-40 rule. And I'll also just add that when you make your needle selection, it's like a dance. It's a dance between your fabric, your thread, your technique, and your machine, because our machines have personalities, right? So what works for you may not work for your other sewing buddy, even if you're working on the same project. Sometimes our machines have personalities, so you need to be prepared with different needle types and sizes. Gail was asking, hi Gail from Michigan. Gail and I used to work together. What do you use the non-stick needle for? The super non-stick needle. Well, the super non-stick needle is used for anytime you're working with a sticky stabilizer, a spray adhesive, a fusible, maybe you're doing machine embroidery or machine applique. So here's the super non-stick needle. You can see it's kind of a different color. It's kind of a gunmetal or charcoal gray color. This is a great needle choice also if you're sewing on vinyl or oilcloth. I think that was one of the questions, oilcloth or splash fabric. So the super non-stick needle has that non-stick surface that's going to resist your stickies, your sticky stabilizers. It has the non-stick needle also has a reinforced blade, so there's less needle deflection when the stitch is created. And the super non-stick also has an extra large eye, so there's less stress on the thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. Okay, so Carolyn is asking, when do you use a ballpoint needle versus a sharp needle? Okay, the SCHMETZ name for a ballpoint is, you have two options. You've got the stretch needle or the jersey. They both have a medium ballpoint, so you'll use those for sewing on knits. The microtex needle is generically known as a sharp needle. So it has what's referred to as a very slim acute point. Very slim acute point. So with the microtex needle, you're going to get the most precise stitches, and you're going to use the microtex needle mostly on your wovens. So if you're piecing or quilting or sewing on a woven, the microtex is a great needle choice. Cheryl's asking, what's the best needle for sewing on blue jeans? Well, there's a jeans needle. It's also known as a denim needle. So if you're sewing on jeans, what thread are you using? Again, it's a dance, so if you're using a thread heavier than a 40 weight, you're going to want to go up at least one needle size to a 90-14. If your denim is heavy, you also want to go up to at least a size 90-14, maybe even a size 100/16 needle size. So sometimes you just have to experiment. Mary Ann was asking, do I have to use an embroidery needle when embroidering? Well, no, you don't have to use an embroidery needle. You do have other options. For machine embroidery, the super nonstick is a great needle choice again because it has that nonstick surface that will resist your sticky stabilizers. Some people like to use a top stitch needle when they're doing machine embroidery because the top stitch needle has an elongated eye. So there's less stress on the thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. Okay, what needles, Faye was asking, what needle should I use if I'm using foam interfacing? You know what, foam interfacing, I'd use that super nonstick needle. Again, foam interfacing is going to get warm and it's going to have a tendency to either gum up or hug your needle. So that super nonstick will help you sew easier and longer with the nonstick surface. Okay, well, we're at 12:46. I don't want to keep you too long. Let me see. I'm assuming lots of people have answered. So let me see. My colleague Paul is working off-site. He was exposed to COVID not too long ago, so he's playing it safe and working from home. And we work together frequently. And he has a winner. Yes, a winner. Today's winner who answered the question, what projects have you created using the Smets twin or triple needle? And the winner is Eva Missy. Eva Batiste Missy. Okay, I kind of fumbled over that middle name there. She's a former retired U.S. transport commander. She used this twin needle for stitching Sombrella on a canopy cover, and she said it worked beautifully. So, Eva, I will be sending you a message shortly. It'll come through either as Smets needle or Rhonda Pierce, and I'll be asking for your shipping address. So I'll be sending a message to you hopefully within 20 minutes. Sometimes Facebook has to recalculate and it's hard to find messages, but I'll be in touch with you. Okay, well, we've covered a lot of information here today. I have another question for you. Would you like me to answer questions more frequently and maybe submit your questions in advance so you can get same-day answers? Let me know what you're thinking. I'm thinking about doing just a pure Q&A live, maybe once or twice a month. Well, twice a month, including my usual Wednesday, first of the month Smets snippet. But if you'd be interested in something separate where it's just Q&A, let me know because I'm finalizing some plans now. And wow, I want to know what works for you. So congratulations to Eva. I want to say thank you to each of you for being here today. Wow, we've had some great sewing weather. I guess that's the positive spin, right? We have to look for the good. I hope that you all stay healthy and safe, and that we can meet again next month on the first Wednesday of the month. So go to SMETSneedles.com if you want to check out the Sew Inspired to Sew publications. If you need your Smets bundles, I encourage you to support your local sewing machine dealers, fabric stores, quilt shops, and yes, buy your Smets needles only from authorized sellers. So that would be your independent quilt shops, dealerships, etc. Be careful if you're buying your Smets needles online. We don't want you to get burned. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for being here. And sew Smets. I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.